if you're on paper, meaning you're on probation or you're in on parole, that the parole officers was going to be coming to your house as part of all these gun initiatives in New York City to get these guns off the street. Yeah, that's happening. That's happening. So I'm in the process of filing some motions to suppress. Am I live? I can't tell. Oh, I know what it is. All right, hang on one second, y'all. That's why I need Monet. Muñeca! Muñeca! Muñeca, you going to come help me? I love my cousin. I need her expertise. Let's get this public and save. Okay. All right, family. I know I'm talking to two screens, so I'm going to do my best to try to split that my attention in both ways. Okay, so if you haven't heard, um, it's your girl Ike here. I'm your favorite lawyer, some people's favorite lawyer. And so when there's legal issues in the media, I try to come and make them make sense to you and see what it's all about. Okay, so you guys know, are you guys back in the courtroom? Yeah, we've been back in court all year, for a year now. We've been back in court for a year. Some cases are still being done virtually if it's not something that's serious. If it's just an adjournment, they'll do that virtually if the court part is set up for that, because not all courtrooms are set up for virtual appearances. But for the most part, we are back. We're doing hearings, we're doing trials. Everything is back to normal. Okay, so Brian Flores, who is now, let me preface this by saying, for all the people that think that I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm a girl. I grew up on football. Okay, if you know me personally, you know I grew up in a house full of boys, men and boys. Okay, my grandmother had 9 kids. Okay, she had 9 kids. 3 of them were girls. The other 6 were men. The other 6 were boys. Were my uncles, right? And they had a bunch of kids who predominantly were boys. So most of my cousins are boys. I didn't have dibs on the TV when I was a kid, which meant I had to watch what most of the people were watching, which was sports. Okay, so by default, I became a ridiculous football fan, mostly because my mom was too, because she grew up in a house of brothers and she didn't have dibs on the TV, so we kind of, passed that down. So I have been in football pools. I was in the football pool at the DA's office. It was a weekly pool, pick the pros, over and unders, covering the spreads, box pools. I'm telling you, checking injury reports every weekend. I was a nightmare. My kids used to be like, "Can you close your door while you're watching football?" Because I'm telling you, don't call me. My friends know. Do not call me Thursday night. Do not call me on Sundays at 1. Don't call me on Sundays at 4. Don't call me on Sundays at 8. Don't call me Monday night. That's it. That's how it used to be. That's how entrenched I was. I love football. I love being able to make the call before the ref. Like, I had that, knee down, you down, da da da, right? So then all of the bullshit happened with Kaepernick, and I was like, this don't feel right. This don't feel right. So I shut it down. I did the boycott like a lot of other people did, and I was like, I'm not about this life. Okay. Recently, I would say maybe a year ago, I actually tried to come back to the game. I was like, Cap is good. He got a little paper in it. Let me get back on it. And I was watching it, and I was really trying to get into it, y'all. No, it wasn't the same. It's like that boyfriend you break up with, and then you like, fuck it, we could get back together, but I really don't trust you. But I'm gonna try. It was like that. It was like that. I love football. Latoya said I love football, boxing, wrestling. So do I. But I didn't feel right in my spirit when I was watching it. I was like, this ain't the same. I felt like it felt like betrayal, right? It felt like betrayal. Rob said it's funny that I met you at 100, but you are 100% all day. Hey, Rob, what's going on? What's good, fam? Okay. So I haven't been able to watch football. So this most recent lawsuit was not a surprise to a lot of people. So Brian Flores, who was fired by y'all tell me if I get some of these details wrong. I believe he was fired by the Miami Dolphins, right? I'm waiting for somebody to tell me I'm wrong. I'm wrong or right. Anyway, he was fired even after posting 2 consecutive winning seasons. Y'all, I'm right. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Anyway, so he was fired. Now, in his pursuit for a new job. He had been meeting with other teams and things of that nature, and he has not been rehired. He brought this lawsuit saying that the NFL and its hiring practices and things of that nature has a history and a culture of systemic racism, 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 racism. And then he listed some specific instances to bolster his suit. He said that, and this is interesting. He said that the owner of the team he was playing for offered him something like $100,000 a game to lose. To lose. Thanks, Tish. To lose. So that he would have a better shot at a higher draft pick, right? Because the worse you do in the season, the better you are at your positioning for getting a higher draft pick, right? And so he was trying to get him to lose, just lose a little more. Doesn't matter, just lose, because then we get a better draft. So Flores wasn't with it, right? The other thing he said that there were a number of other teams who he did interview with. Specifically, he spoke about the Giants. Come on, Big Blue. Okay, y'all know that when I was a football fan, I was a diehard Giants fan. I'm from New York. It's New York all day. How do I not go for the Giants, right? Which means, by default, I hate the Cowboys. You know how that goes, right? So Brian Flores alleges that he met with the Giants when they were looking for a head coach. But he says that it was all bullshit, right? That the only reason they brought him in is to satisfy the Rooney Rule. So I was like, wait a minute now. I love football, but I never heard about the Rooney Rule. What is that? So I had to go look it up. So the Rooney Rule was put into place back in 2013. Dan Rooney, I believe is his name, who was like the head of diversity and shit over in the NFL. That's not his real title, but y'all know what I'm saying. Anyway, so the rule basically says that NFL teams have to consider minority candidates for coaching in upper NFL positions, like coordinators and shot callers. You have to start considering non-white people, right? You got to start considering minorities. And so what Brian Flores says is that the Giants just, in order to satisfy the Rooney Rule, they just brought him in and interviewed him when they had already decided that they was going to pick that other guy, right? So much so that he got a text message from Bill Belichick. It was like, congratulations. Sorry, my dad, right? So it was a mistake. Bill Belichick accidentally, he accidentally sent him a congratulatory text that was meant for someone else, meaning he was privy to the fact that the Giants had already selected another coach. Meanwhile, he going down there to interview for a position that has already been filled, right? And the only reason they did that is so that they could say, hey, we comply with the Rooney Rule. We actually considered some other black people. We consider some black people. Yeah. So this sounds a lot like the Comcast suit to me. Remember that Comcast suit that was brought way back by Byron Allen, and he was saying how Comcast wouldn't give him any airtime, any of their broadband, whatever the fuck it was, and they was like, we just ain't got it. And he's like, well, how come y'all got it for all those white channels that come, but y'all don't got it for us, type thing? Right? Remember, he lost that suit. he lost that suit. Yeah, I don't know the utility of the suit. I don't know if it's got enough teeth to withstand a motion to dismiss or anything like that. What I do know is two things. One, Brian Flores will probably never work in the NFL because they're kind of vindictive. You know what I'm saying? Ask Colin Kaepernick. I know that for sure. He's not going to be working. I don't know. I forgot what the other thing was that I was going to say. I forgot. Does Belichick text really help in court? It could. It could help because it shows that the decision was already made. So why are you still interviewing someone? And so the Giants' response, I believe their response was that they denied that the decision had already been made. right? They denied it had already been made, and said that the decision was made at the 11th hour. That's what they said, right? So we hadn't decided, even though Bill Belichick was congratulating folks. We hadn't really decided. Well, I don't know. Mm. And so, Cavette, the thing about it may not be that only any one piece of evidence is a smoking gun, but collectively, right? Talking about the things that he's experienced during the course of his time there, collectively, that can be what it is that can establish his course of action. I have not read his complaint. I'll have to do that. I'll have to read the complaint because I want to know specifically what he's saying, but it's no secret that we have suspected, that we think, believe, feel that the NFL is racist with somewhere almost, I think it's more like 60 something percent. I think they rounded up to 70% of the NFL are black players, and we have one black head coach. One, just one. And I don't know. I kind of feel like, why can't we start our own league? Right? I don't know. People. My son is like, cuz there ain't nobody gonna do that. We don't have that kind of unity. Okay, you think it's gonna make it past summer? Just Phoenix. Great question, Phoenix son. I don't know. That's the thing. I have to look at the complaint, and I haven't had a chance to do that because sometimes if you don't plead these things properly, then you won't survive a motion to dismiss. That's what summary judgment is, right? A summary judgment basically just says to the court, hey, look at what they said. Well, even if all of that shit they said is true, they don't have a course of action, right? That there is no remedy at law for what they're saying happened to them. That's part of a summary judgment. So I don't know. I don't know. Are there any material facts here for a jury to decide? So we saw what happened with Byron Allen. It did not. It did not survive the motion practice, right? Based on the way the courts read the law. So I'm going to look at the case and we'll see. Peace to the God. Peace to the God. I appreciate you too, King. Always, always. Where's Diddy? Mike, I don't know what's going on with Diddy, Mike. Mikey, tell me, because I do not know. If he does not survive a motion to dismiss, he will be countersued for defamation. Well, Daniel, defamation is one of those things where the truth is an absolute defense, right? And so he's going to say this is his truth. He's not making allegations for which he's speculating. He's saying this is my experience, and this is what I took from that experience. I don't think that the NFL could countersue him for defamation, right? I don't think that they could do that. That I think would be immediately dismissed. Remember, defamation is when you know that something you are saying is untrue, and you continue to say that thing with the intent. And I'm putting these things together and I'm saying them apart because I want you to see that these things are connected. It's not that I'm just saying things about you that are not true. It's that I'm aware that what I am saying is not true, and I want that shit to hurt you. I want it to damage your character, your reputation, your business prospects, your opportunities. I know what I'm saying is not true. I don't think the NFL can say that about Brian Flores. I don't think they can say that about his lawsuit, that he knows that the allegations in the lawsuit are frivolous and made up, right? So if we look at what Tasha K did, she knew Cardi B did not have herpes, but she kept spinning that narrative. She knew Cardi B had not been on stage putting a bottle in her vagina, but she kept pushing that narrative. Why? Because her YouTube channel sends a check. And every time people click on there and watch that bullshit, she is rewarded, right? And so she knew what she was doing. She knew it was having a deleterious effect on Cardi B because Cardi B told her, take this down. This is the problem. Okay. And she continued in that regard, right? So this is a little different than that. I hope that makes sense. Diddy has enough cash and enough friends with cash to make our own legal thing. Okay, well, he should. It's not just him. He's not the only one, right? He's not the only black person who has that kind of capital, right? And if we collectively got together, or even just the 70% of the players that we are talking about collectively got together, they have a better shot. And that's the problem, right? Because when you're talking about collection, that means we need to make individual sacrifices. And motherfuckers ain't ready for that. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. A lot of people are not willing to sacrifice how comfortable they are. I told my son the other day, I was like, I'll sacrifice all this shit for her. He was not happy with that. What you mean, Ma? Meaning that we can give all this up. None of this matters, because if everybody ain't doing good, then what's the use? Some of us are doing good. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's how Cardi B won the lawsuit against the YouTuber. Yep. Yep, that's how she won. And aside from the fact that the YouTuber came in and admitted that what she was doing, that she knew what she was saying was a lie, that she knew what she was putting out to the masses was untrue, and she didn't care because the bag was more important than her integrity. Ouch. You see what money does? Money, how you fucked up. Money will have you all the way fucked up. I haven't had lunch just yet. You know, I was hoping that Claude was gonna pull up on me. Pull up on me. He ain't even on here. You know, you gonna watch this later and feel bad. You ain't pull up on me. All right. So that's what I wanted to say about Brian Flores. I'm gonna get to soup. I wanted to explain what the Rooney Rule was and what that's about. And I don't know where we go from go from here. I'm not watching football, NFL football. I'm not watching, and I can't watch basketball either because it's just so, man. I don't know when these slaves gonna revolt on these plantations, but they need to do something, right? They need to do something, and I'm not. I can't watch it anymore. I'm done with that shit. So I'll keep you posted on that lawsuit. I stand by my video with respect to the pleas for the McMichaels. That is going to be back on Friday. There is a lot of talk about, the judge rejected the plea because of Ahmaud Arbery's mother. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. I mean, I wish that the courts bowed to the tears of a black mother. They never have. Never have. They just never have. What the judge said was, she looked at the plea agreement and she says, oh, y'all guaranteeing 30 years, 360 months. That was what was in the plea agreement. And she was like, no, I'm not. Y'all not about to tie my hands. Y'all not about to tell me how much time I could give these bastards. No, I don't like it. So you know what is going to happen? The prosecution and the defense are going to go back and they're going to give her an agreement she can live with. Meaning that they're going to just take out the part that says 30 years, leave that open for her. What does it matter to them? They got life in the state court. So if they get life in the Fed, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? All of that was hoopla. All of that. Because guess what? Ahmaud Arbery's mother's not coming back to court on Friday. She will not be heard again, right? We already heard her. The judicial efficiency says we don't have time to listen to you say the same thing you already said. We will consider what you said. She's not going to be there on Friday, is my guess, right? And so on Friday, when they come up with the new plea agreement, which will be perfectly fine. Because what, oh God. What Lee Merritt is pushing people and saying essentially is, we should have the government force these people to go to trial, even though they're willing, so that the government can prove what they are willing to admit. I don't understand that, right? Think about it from this perspective. The prosecution's job is to prove you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If you are willing to come up and say, I'm guilty, why the fuck will we have a trial? Do you know how much is involved in a trial? The resources, the time, the commitment, the energy. It takes a lot. This is a murder case. This is not just some penny ante, petty larceny. We can go in there and say this is what it was. Blah, blah. No, you got to bring in witnesses. You got to bring in experts. This is a production. The prosecutors don't want to try this case. Why would you want to go to trial to prove somebody guilty who's willing to stand up and say it? It makes no sense. It's not practical. It's just not, right? So the prosecutors will make sure that the court is happy with whatever decision it is, whatever it is that they were unhappy with. And from the reports that I read, the judge was solely unhappy with the fact that there was a 30-year already sentence in there. That's all she said. So I think they're going to just take that out, leave it open, let her give them life, and then they will go to federal prison. Do y'all know where Derek Chauvin is? Anybody know where Derek Chauvin, the police officer who kneeled on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes, you know where he's going to be serving his time? Oh, yes, federal custody. That's right. Federal custody. You know why? Because he had a federal charge too, right after his conviction, right? This was the Ben Crump camp. And what happened? He went in, he took a plea to his federal civil rights violation. He's facing up to 25 years on that. And in that agreement, it also says he will serve his time in federal custody. This is par for the course. Where is Michael Slager? Michael Slager is the police officer who shot Walter Scott in the back 9 times. Remember his state case? His state case ended in the mistrial, hung jury. And what did they do? They brought in the federal charges. They dismissed this murder case on the state level and let him plead out to 20 years on federal, and he is also in federal custody. Right. So here's the thing. Keisha says that's why they keep throwing the federal charges in. No, that's not why. You know why they keep throwing the federal charges in? Because there are these leaders like Lee Merritt and Ben Crump who scream justice on the federal level. We need federal charges. And so when the federal charges come, then they're like, well, we don't want them to do federal time. Well, why the fuck you asking for federal charges? Federal charges bring federal time. It's just annoying. And then you be up and down like the government doesn't care about black people. They will not bring federal charges. That's what happened with Tamir Rice. You know that they doubled down on the fact that they will not reopen that investigation. Right? They doubled down on that. Now we've got Republican justice system, not justice, the DOJ headed by the Republicans, and now we have the Democrats who are heading the DOJ, and they still won't open the Tamir Rice case for federal charges. Okay, another one, Eric Gardner. Remember Pantiliano, whatever the fuck his name is? No federal charges for him. Guy who killed Mike Brown. No federal charges for him. Right, with no state charges for any of them either, though. But I'm just saying, y'all see where I'm going with this, right? Y'all see my point. You see my point. So keep an eye on that. That's going to happen tomorrow. Manage your expectations. I believe that they will plead guilty. I don't believe they will be sentenced at the same time, because what's required often is what's called a pre-sentence report, right? A PSI or pre-sentence investigation on the federal level. And that takes some time. That has to come to the judge. And then they come back for sentencing. When they come back for sentencing, that's when they will be put into federal custody. And you know when that's going to happen? When nobody is watching. You won't know. Yep, you won't. Okay. So you heard it here first. So, manage your expectations. All right, I got to get back to work. I had a late little breakfast, so I guess I'm gonna skip lunch. I'm gonna work through that so I could get out of here early. Since Claude didn't pull up on me, Oh, check me out. I see the RP show just joined. Check out my YouTube channel. I shared an interview from the RP show. There are 2 guys who have the same condition as I do, retinitis pigmentosa. They have a show called the RP show. If you or want to know more about it, please go to either my channel or to their channel, the RP Show, and check out my interview where we talk about what it's like to be going blind, right? You think you got problems? I saw somebody on Twitter the other day I got 99 problems And money can solve every one of them. And I was thinking, well, what a blessing that is. What a blessing that must be, that something so fungible as money could solve all of your problems, right? Health is wealth to me. Health is wealth. And I was like, well, all the money in the world, I'm not gonna get them to have a cure for RP right now, right? So you are lucky if you're one of those people where money can solve all your problems. So for the rest of us, you know, we just we moving on the spirit of love and energy and all that good stuff. All right, fam. Y'all be safe too. No, Robert, I did not know that you were blind. Welcome, welcome to the club, right? Welcome to the club. All right, y'all. I gotta get back to work. It's your girl Ike here. I love you. I really do. Peace. I gotta stop all these videos. I got too many things going on. All right, stop, end.